AITA for refusing to give my late husband's possible affair baby any money. Trigger warnings: infidelity, drug addiction. My husband passed away almost 3 years ago, leaving me a solo mom of an 8-year-old. I've learned a lot about who he really was since then. Let's just say that if he were alive, we wouldn't still be married. About 6 weeks ago, a process server showed up trying to serve him with a court order to submit DNA for a kid. I gave him a copy of the death certificate and sent him on his way. Shortly after that, a woman shows up on my doorstep saying that the kid she had with her was my late husband's child. Is it? I don't know, and I don't care. It kind of looks like him, but also looks young enough that they would have had to have been conceived very, very shortly before his death. I told her that he was gone and where she could find his grave. She almost immediately started demanding her half of his estate. I laughed and told her that half of nothing was nothing and she was welcome to that. Where I've been informed that I might be TA is that while it's true there was no estate, there were assets that passed outside of probate. One of those assets was a rental property that his parents gave us years ago, deeded with him and I as joint tenancy with rights of survivorship. In short, it became mine when he died. I've already sold it, and that will be the money that sends my kid to college. Legally, I'm good, already talked to my attorney about this. While I feel bad for this child, I also have a child of my own to look out for. I'm going to edit this to answer a few questions that I've gotten. No, there was no will in place for him. In my state, intestate inheritance laws say that if the only heirs are me and my child, then the first $50,000 of the estate goes to me and my child gets half of what's left. If this does turn out to be his child, then half of the estate would go to me and half to the children, i.e. my child would get 25% and the other child would get 25%. However, that is a moot point because his estate was literally an empty bank account and $40 in cash. Everything else passed outside of probate. A good estate attorney is worth every penny, even if I never could get him to meet with her to do his damn will. There was no life insurance. Yes, I'm in the US and my child is receiving survivor's benefits. They aren't huge, but they do pay for the therapy bills. He hadn't worked for a vast majority of our marriage, but luckily did have enough credits to qualify. At this point, I'm not opposed to helping the other child receive the same benefits since it won't affect mine. However, my attorney has recommended to hold off at this time because we don't know what she's planning. She assures me that if the other mother files with Social Security that they will backdate any payments to at least the date filed, so holding off won't affect the total amount if it does turn out to be his child. I have no idea if she knew he was married at the time or not. My husband's parents are alive, but our relationship is strained, at best. I haven't told them about any of this and have done my best to let them keep believing that their son was a saint. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, downvoted NTA for having nothing to offer. But you are definitely the AH for referring to this child as an it, like he or she isn't even alive to you. How hateful. That child is innocent. Completely innocent. And they are a person who did literally nothing to ask for your cruel dismissiveness of their very humanity. OP, I'm trying to maintain some semblance of privacy here by not referencing whether it's a boy or a girl. I live in a small town and the rumors are already flying. Commenter 2, NTA. And for what it's worth, that's not a terribly uncommon scam for some reason. If you still have the papers, I'd look into if they were even legitimate. OP, they were. That's the first thing my attorney looked into. The working theory is that she really didn't know when she filed. Why she waited so long is anyone's guess. Commenter 3, NTA, you owe her nothing. Info, other than her word, do you have any proof that he actually did sleep with her? Do you have any other reason to change your opinion about your husband at this point? OP, I haven't found anything definitive that he was sleeping with anyone else. But, I did find out that he was hiding a drug addiction and lying about a lot of other things, so it's possible. OP clarifies on the possible estate. OP, when I say there was no estate, I mean there was no estate. We had separate bank accounts. His was empty and there was $40 in his wallet. It's still there actually. He didn't work, had no life insurance, and was generally uninterested in handling financial stuff. There was nothing else that wasn't jointly owned or solely in my name. Deleted commenter, NTA, but keeping a rental property would have been a better choice than selling it and letting it sit in a bank account for a decade. OP, that place was an albatross. It needed thousands of dollars worth of work and I just didn't have the bandwidth to be a landlord at that time. It's actually in a brokerage account, so it's not losing ground to inflation. Does OP or her child qualify for survivor's benefits? OP, my child does receive benefits, but not nearly that much. It's enough to cover their therapy bills. My husband hadn't worked consistently in at least 10 years, but thankfully did have enough credits to qualify. Update. 4.5 months later. So, it is his child. Or at least there's enough shared DNA to determine that my in-laws are the grandparents and there's no way that it's their other sons. The biggest update is that the mother doesn't currently have custody. I'm still a bit unsure of the timeline, but there might have already been a CPS case open when she first contacted me. She's apparently a fan of the same illicit substances that my husband was. That would explain how they met. Unfortunately, that means that the child is now in foster care. My in-laws were not deemed an appropriate placement, and I won't do it. I have been working with the caseworker with regards to getting Social Security benefits for the child. In my state, survivor benefits offset any child support obligations, so even if there was an estate, the SS benefits most likely exceed the amount he would owe based on his work history prior to death. This hasn't affected my own child's benefits. I still haven't determined exactly what I will do with this information going forward. I have set aside some money in an online savings account, but it's still in my name. Until the mother's rights are completely terminated or the child ages out of the system, I don't want anything that would possibly give her access to it. I will also eventually have to tell my child that there is a sibling out there. I've been through the ringer over the last couple of months and I'm still just so fucking mad that I'm still cleaning up my husband's mess. Top comments. Does OP's husband have any siblings that could take the child in? OP, there are 2 siblings, both out of state. His brother is single and in the military and isn't a good option. His sister is, let's just say, militantly child-free. There are a couple of cousins that might be suitable eventually. I'm really not sure what's going on with that process because even though I'm friendly with the caseworker, I'm also not related to this child or am I a licensed foster provider, so there are limits to what she can tell me due to privacy. Why can't OP take the child in? OP, I won't go as far as calling them a burden, but I'm in no position to take on another child and have taken measures to prevent that. I already feel like I fail my own child on a weekly basis. Commenter, wow, I can't imagine how hard this has been for you, and I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. You're not just managing the fallout of your late husband's actions, you're also being incredibly thoughtful about protecting your child and this other child's future, all while trying to navigate your own emotions. I think it's really commendable that you're ensuring the child gets the Social Security benefits they're entitled to, even though you're under no obligation to do so. Setting aside money for their future is above and beyond, especially given the situation with the mother. Keeping it in your name until things stabilize sounds like the smart and safe call. When the time comes to tell your child about their sibling, I hope you have support to help navigate that conversation. You've already shown so much strength and grace in a really unfair situation. Don't forget to give yourself space to process everything. You deserve peace after everything you've been through. You're doing amazing, even if it doesn't feel like it.